Okay, this video for F451 is on understanding what utility software is and understanding features of different types of utility software. So you need to be able to explain what utility software is, identify different types of utility software, and then explain the features of various types of utility software. So to identify different types of utility, we have file handling, hardware drivers, backup utility, compression software, and antivirus software. These are the ones that you'll need to know about for the spec. There are other types as well. These are the main ones that you'll need to know about for the spec. So what is utility software? Utility software are, or is, housekeeping programs, system programs that perform a common task, programs that help running of software or hardware, and the programs to help protect the system, e.g. antivirus. Okay, so in an exam question, generally you might get a 2-marker. So, to be honest, I've seen 1 markers, which just ask what is utility software. If you just say housekeeping programs, meaning they help organize your computer. They're system programs, as we said, that perform common tasks, programs that help running of software and hardware. So antivirus is an example here, one that protects your system. The other examples obviously that we've got are these ones here: file handling, hardware drivers, backup, compression. Okay, so now what we're going to go and do is look at these different types. So what is file handling? This should be quite obvious. It's sets of data on a computer system. There are sets of data, on a computer system that are known as files, and programs are needed to handle the storage and use of these files. So file handling software manages the data storage, organizes the data storage on your secondary storage, whichever that might be, e.g. the hard drive, or i.e. in this case it says the hard drive. So it manages data storage on your hard drive, allows files to be accessed from your hard drive, allows deletion of files or sorting of files, can provide security measures to limit access to certain files, allows the user to copy files from medium to another, e.g. from one medium to another, e.g. hard drive to USB drive. So if we just come out of this a moment, file and handling software is obviously what we have here in Windows. We have, firstly, you can't see it here, but it manages the data storage on the secondary storage device. Allows you to access files, so I can access any files in here by double clicking on them. Allows me to delete files, so I could delete this file, for example. I'm not going to, but could delete it. We can organize or sort files into a specific order. We can limit access to certain files, so I'm sure if I went into somewhere, share with, maybe nobody, for example, limit access to files. And we can also copy files to another medium, so I could send this to a different device. If I had a pen drive in, it would come up here, so I could copy it to a USB drive. Okay, so that is what file handling is. So it should be quite simple for you to remember that through the use of Microsoft Windows. I suggest you write these notes down and take a screenshot to show the different ways that file handling is used, and maybe find a picture that helps you remember this bit here. Okay, so hardware drivers. Any piece of hardware needs to be controlled and set up for communication with the processor. The drivers are programs that set the rules for these communications. For example, the printer driver will contain details of all the font options available. So hardware drivers contain the instructions to the operating system for using a peripheral. When a new printer is used, communication protocols need to be installed so the operating system can communicate with the peripheral. Drivers would allow the user to configure the hardware. So I haven't got a printer on here, but if I did have a printer, let's have a look in. I didn't want computer, sorry. I want to go to control panel. If you've got a computer at home, go to your control panel and have a look at your devices and printers, and what you should find is you are able to configure your printer using this section here. Actually, I have got a printer connected here, so I can change the preferences of my printer and various other things with this printer. I can't do it now because I'm not connected to it, but I can do various things with this printer because I've got the drivers that allow me to communicate. If you notice, my printer was HP, but this software is Windows, this computer is Toshiba, so the drivers are needed to be able to let the computer and the printer communicate. Otherwise they're made by two different manufacturers and they wouldn't be able to communicate. So it allows us as well to configure the hardware. So again, you might want to take some screenshots showing configuration of hardware and something to show that help you remember the word communication. Maybe a little person talking with a printer in the background or something similar to that would probably jog your memory in an exam. Next one, backup utility. All files on a computer system need to be protected from being damaged. This is a simple routine which copies the contents of files to some other location, so if the original is damaged, there is a replacement copy available. The important point here is the routine is carried out automatically. Simply saying backup is not enough when responding to a question. Alright? You have to say automatically makes copies of files. Alright? You can't just say backup. So backup utility automatically makes the copies of the files. We can back up manually. I could back up my work by copying to a USB drive, but that wouldn't be using a utility of backup. That would be using the file handling utility. A backup utility will do this automatically. It prevents loss of files, protects important work by ensuring, spelling mistake there, apologies, it is stored on different hardware at regular intervals. An example could be automatic incremental backup, which simply backs up the changes to the file since the previous backup was made. So an example of a backup could be automatic incremental, so each increment just backs up the previous changes since the previous backup. So in Windows we should find a backup utility, backup and restore. Here it is. Set up backup. If I was you, I'd have a little go at this so you remember it and take a few screenshots to go through the different steps as we've got here. Oh, let me go back. So as we've got here, it's taken a while, but if you go through these steps, oh, here we go. What we can do is choose a destination. I haven't got the destination because I haven't got anywhere to put it on. I need a pen drive or USB drive to put it on. We choose destination and then we choose a time and date for a suitable backup to take place, and we do it regularly. Okay, so then it automatically gets done. And makes copies of the files at a regular time. Right, the next one, compression software. This software reduces the size of files by cutting out much of the duplication of data stored in the material. This is particularly useful as it speeds up the electronic transfer of files over email connections. In an exam, this is what you want to answer with 3 marks. Reduce the size of files. Compression software reduces the size of files. When scripts are being sent electronically, the compression means they can be sent more quickly, or when documents are being sent electronically, the compression means they can be sent more quickly. When wanting to access the file again, you need to decompress using a decompression algorithm, usually by the person who's receiving the file at the other destination. So they will have compression software that can decompress the software. It's not suitable to say that you're going to reduce the size of the files to save hard disk space, because the files can't be accessed when they're compressed. They will have to be decompressed, and then that will need hard disk space to pick them up again. So compression software is generally used when you want to send files or transfer files onto a different device, but not necessarily open them up. Again, if you want to see an example of compression, I can right click this folder, go to compress an email here, and I can choose different types of formats: RAR, RAR5 or ZIP. These are the different compressions, which will then have a different algorithm depending on which one you choose. And then I can press OK and compress it, and then I can then send all those files in this folder at a compress basically, and then I can email them off because it will reduce the size of the folder considerably. Let's see if we can just do it on one of these. This is currently 584 kilobytes. Let's go to that one, and now see it's 195 kilobytes. Alright, and then if I want to open it up, it'll open up the compression software, and then I can extract it to the location I want to extract to. What we should see now is it's extracted it into this folder, and there it is again. Okay, so that then uses the algorithm to extract it. I'm just going to delete this using my file handling software. So there it is deleted, and I've closed my file handling software, and my compression software is closed automatically anyway. Okay, so the next one we want to look at is antivirus software. This should be quite simple for a lot of you. Computers can contract viruses, which are small programs that reproduce themselves and take over space in memory, thereby impacting on data and programs. A piece of antivirus software is a utility program which is continually looking out for characteristics of a virus. Here are the points for an exam answer. Scans a computer for a virus. If a virus is found, it attempts to delete the virus. If the virus is deeply rooted into a file, it might be quarantined instead. Virus checkers will also scan new files and block any from entering the system if they show signs of virus. Virus details are kept in a definitions file. This is updated regularly with the latest details on the virus. So, if you've got an antivirus you should have at home, I'd suggest you go and run it now and see what happens. What you'll see is you scan the computer, take a screenshot. If you find any, it attempts to delete. If not, it will quarantine it. It will get that file and it will restrict access to it. Doesn't mean you won't be able to use that file, and it could mess things up on your computer, but it does stop the virus from spreading. The virus checker then scans new files as they are saved and blocks any from entering the system if they have a virus within them. And then the definitions file is where all the details of each virus is stored. So we need to update this regularly so that any new viruses that come out are contained within that definitions. Okay, so that is all of them. Compression, backup, antivirus, we've just seen, hardware drivers, and file handling. Not a difficult topic. Just to recap, utility software are housekeeping programs, system programs that perform a common task, programs that help the running of software or hardware, and programs to protect the system. Okay, so that is what we've looked at in this video. Not a difficult one. Again, I suggest you do a little set of notes with pictures on that help remind you, probably a presentation or PowerPoint, maybe a mind map or something like that.